Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel, the Parkinson's Cafe. My name is Dominic, I'll be your host. I'm joined by my good friend, Ravi Mahendra. So, what is the purpose of this channel? Is to two friends just meeting in a coffee shop and having chit chats. But then I focused this chit chat talk show on PD, Parkinson's disease or neurodegenerative disease, because I was diagnosed with Parkinson's 5 years ago. The first 2 years I was in a wheelchair. Then by applying and adopting a holistic approach, I managed to come out of the wheelchair. I haven't fully recovered yet, but I'm in the process of recovering by manifesting for healing. So when I talked about manifestation, there are lots of articles, lots of videos, lots of guidelines are there. But then what I found in the last 1 year was what is what. So some talks about affirmation, some talk about visualization, some talk about gratitude, some talk about feelings, emotion, energy, frequency, pranayama, breath work, and etc. So it's a loads and loads of information. It took me 1 year to identify and construct each piece into a logical, structured program, which I have been following for the last 12 months, last year or so. So my friend Ravi is also equally interested in the manifestation process, in the manifestation theory. So I thought that we'll talk about that today. And then if you like, as they say, like us, subscribe us, and share our video. So Ravi, welcome to the show.
Hey, Anton.
Hello there. Do you want to give a brief introduction about yourself?
Thanks for having me, Anton.
Pleasure.
Yeah, I think my introduction starts with me being your good friend.
Yes.
We've known each other for a very long time.
Yes.
Professionally, I come from a financial services background, so I'm a trained accountant.
Yeah.
With a business MBA,
Mm-hmm.
and I worked for the last 20 years in the insurance industry in the City of London, across very senior roles in global firms.
Good.
Yeah, and that's my background.
When did you start thinking about manifestation?
I think, if I were to be very honest about that, I've always been a manifester. I mean, as you have been, because I've known you for a long time.
Yes.
It's just that we didn't coin the term.
Yes.
We
didn't realize we are manifesting.
We didn't realize we were manifesting, but I think the two of us have been manifestors. We've been manifesting for a very long time.
Yes.
But I think that the term, if I were to just get into the term, I think I started noticing the term probably, I got focused on recognizing the term about 2 or 3 years ago.
Right. And what is your understanding of manifestation?
I think manifestation is being clear about what you want,
right,
and making it happen. That's and making it appear in your life. That's my understanding of manifestation. And I think it is pretty a lot more straightforward than most people think, because we are divine beings, and I think we are capable of achieving a lot more, but we just don't know that, and we've forgotten who we really are.
So you think that by manifesting we can ask anything from the universe?
I think so. But of course, it's got to be aligned with our soul.
Yes.
And we must really want it. And we must have a clear purpose as to why we want it. Otherwise, if it's not aligned to our soul, we just ask for something today, we ask for something else tomorrow, we ask for another thing day after, and then the universe is going to get confused.
Yes.
And our actions are not going to align to that as well.
Yes.
So we're not going to get that out. Let me give you an example. I mean, if I start thinking I want to live in a beautiful big house, and then the next day I'm thinking, oh, beautiful big houses make me look rich, so and being rich is evil. And next day, if I think that beautiful big houses are a lot of maintenance, now I'm sending very conflicting signals to the universe.
Yes.
So because of my conflicting signals, the manifestation is either going to be very delayed or it's not going to happen.
Yeah, because you are not sure what you really want.
Exactly. And that's why most humans are very muddled. Of course, there are a number of other reasons I think they're muddled, but this is one of the reasons why their manifestations don't happen.
Yes. Which makes perfect sense, because when you're manifesting, the philosophy or the idea is that whatever we are seeking, the universe also seeking to give to us. But as you correctly said, it has to align our what we are seeking and what the university wants to give to us should be in alignment for us to receive what we really want.
Exactly.
And Bob Baker kind of said that we should not request, we should demand.
Yes.
And what is universe? So for some people it's God.
Yes.
Some people it's mystery. Some people it's supreme or superpower.
Yes.
Or most people simply call it universe.
Yes.
So in order to keep the discussion very impartial, we are going to use the word universe.
Correct.
So, but then where does manifestation start? What are the components of manifestation?
So I think it first starts with a clear desire. That's how I think about it.
Right.
You got to have a desire, and the desire has to be a thought in your mind. I mean, it's like what Napoleon Hill said: you can think and grow rich. And I'll tell you, you're a good example of that. You have thought and grown rich.
Yes,
So
surely.
of course you have. No,
yes.
but you have, right? I know you. I know you for a lot longer than I can see where you are, and I've known you for years.
Yes.
So it's got to first of all start with a clear thought in the mind. The idea has to be there, and that idea has to be a clear picture in the mind, and there has to be a clear desire around that. And then I also think there has to be, in addition to the clarity of the desire and the thought, I think there are a number of other elements that are needed for manifestations to work.
Yes.
Do you want me to talk about them now?
Yeah, let me give you a hint on the different elements. So,
Right.
the when you look into the what do you call the research, and there are few things which always pop out. That's what I'm going to give it to you, Ravi, and then we are going to see what is a connection from your point of view between these elements.
Yeah.
So you said thoughts.
Yes.
We have thoughts here. We have feelings.
Yes.
We have vibration.
Yes.
We have frequency.
Yes.
We have emotions.
Yes.
And we have mood.
Correct.
So most people talk about each element individually, and only very rare people have talked about the connection between these elements. But I think understanding the connection between these elements is very crucial. So from your point of view, what is the flow you think? So thought is the first one. The thought comes to our mind.
I think the thought has to be very clear.
Yes.
And also I think the thought has to be very clear, visualizable, and a timeline based.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that to me is the starting point. I mean, I will go to, let's say, on a holiday to Euro Disney by 15th of December, for example. There's a clear thought and visualizing of going to Euro Disney. I mean, it might sound like a simple example, but it's very, very clear.
Yes.
Okay. So then I think the thought is not enough. You got to truly believe in that, because what happens to most people is they have the thought, but then there is the analytical brain which steps in very quickly.
Yes.
And says that you can't do it.
Yeah.
You can't do it. You never did it. Your father never did it. No one in your family did it.
So how come you can do it?
How come you can do it? Your friends haven't done it. So the thought immediately gets challenged by the analytical brain.
It becomes a negative thought.
Exactly. So it becomes a negative thought. So that itself sort of destroys the manifestation even before it starts.
Yes, which means that when you have a positive thought, your past indicators comes into play and convert that thought into a negative thought.
Yes.
And then it stops there, it dies there. It doesn't even move on to the next level.
It doesn't. So I think that's very, very important. The thought has to be there, but I think the negative self-talk has to be really managed. Now, then after the negative self-talk comes fear. The people have fear, many reasons for fear.
Mm-hmm.
Often it's the past, but there's also the fear of how.
Mm.
I think the how is a big fear for
Yes.
many people. So, for example, if I think, right, I need to get myself a Rolls Royce. Now it sounds like a wonderful thought. But then the analytical mind challenges, or you've never bought anything that expensive. You've never bought an expensive car like that. The most expensive car you bought is 1/5 of the price of a Rolls Royce. So that's where the analytical mind starts challenging, and then the how starts working with that. How am I going to do this? I mean, because all you think about is your current circumstances, where you are, how much money do you have, what commitments do you have, and that how is a big contributor to fear, and the fear itself can then sort of start working the manifestation down,
and then you can't practice anything,
and then you don't sort of then your brain doesn't wire and fire, and it doesn't start making the manifestation happen, which we can talk about it in a little while. But then I think there are other blocks as well. In my opinion, I think the biggest block is the environment itself.
Right.
So I think for a lot of people, why their circumstances never change is who they surround themselves with. You can be the best of manifestors in the world. You can be the most, you can be the most incredible thinker. You could be someone who sees the picture very clearly in your mind. You desire it. You want it. You know how to manage your analytical mind, and you can also sort of not spend time worrying about how. But if your friends and if your family and if your, let's say, your social environment is bringing a lot of negativity or negative energy into that process,
yes,
that's also going to dampen down
yes,
your manifestation.
Yes.
So I think that's something that has to be carefully managed before for one to be successful with the manifestation.
So how can we overcome the negative thought?
I think this is my belief.
Yes.
I think your inner world has to be very stable for your manifestations to come true. I believe, like I started off by saying that we are divine beings.
Yes.
I think our natural form is that we are capable of delivering what we want or getting what we want.
Yes.
Right? But our inner world is in a continuous state of turmoil because of negative beliefs, negative chatter. This is inside in our own head itself.
Yes.
And external influences.
Yes.
Right? Which is other people, environmental factors,
yes.
All that, right? Now, if we can manage our inner world and keep it in a state of, I would say, calmness, most of the times. I mean, we can't, if one achieves that 100%, then you become the divine yourself.
Yes.
But most of the times, then you're going to increase your chances of manifestations becoming real.
So what you're saying is that when you have a thought,
yes,
if you overcome the thought, then the thought becomes a feeling.
Yes.
Again, feeling, we have good feeling and bad feeling.
Yes.
And what is the view about feeling? What does the term, how does the thought becomes a feeling?
Yeah, the thought then translates or it generates chemicals. And feelings are what you experience in your body.
Yes.
Effectively, which could be good, positive, joyful feelings.
Yes.
Or negative, doubtful feelings, such as you feeling uncomfortable in your gut, or your back giving you a pain.
Yes.
Or you're feeling that you have lost your appetite. That's your body reacting to how you're sort of experiencing your thoughts,
body.
Your thoughts.
So basically, that, for example, when I was diagnosed with PD, the thought itself was having a PD was a very, very disturbing thought.
Exactly.
But then when it was confirmed I got PD, then that became a negative feeling.
That's right.
And that created stress, bloating, the fear factor you explained. So the feeling became very bad, negative feeling.
That's right.
And that affected my energy.
That's right. I mean, look, Anton, I think like I've known you for a long time, and I mean, with the unfortunate experience that you've had of PD, you've still managed to, really challenge yourself and work yourself out of it. So we got to celebrate the positives here.
Yes.
But I think it was very honest of you to admit that. And I would question with most people, especially people going through difficult times. I mean, I've gone through a lot of difficult times myself.
Yes.
People going through difficult times, how much of the problems they're having is the real difficult time, and how much of the problem they're having is their emotions and beliefs of the difficult time.
Yes. Yes.
So I almost think that they're two different things.
Yes.
So we will all have difficult times.
We all have.
And we can't avoid that, right? I mean, we will have good times, we'll have bad times. The external environment is not in our control.
Of course.
But then when that happens, what does our mind and our brain do with that? How do we manage that? Can make a big difference between whether that snowballs into a bigger difficult time,
snowball effect,
or it actually is contained and you change course.
It does take time, because going back to PD experience, it did take a good 1 year, because as soon as I was diagnosed, after 1 year, I got into a wheelchair. And it was very difficult to accept the fact that I was in a wheelchair. I can't do anything what I used to do. And the fear itself created negative feelings, which contributed to my negative emotion. So my mood was low. So that affected my vibration.
Yes.
The frequency of my brain.
Yes.
So because my vibration was very low,
yes,
I was not attracting the right set of people.
Correct.
So basically, a simple example will be, let's say when you wake up and you see it's raining, which, as Ravi said, environment is not in your control. It's raining, and you think, oh no, everything is going to be delayed now. So that thought itself becomes a negative thought by looking at the factor in the environment. It's raining, therefore the day is going to be very difficult. And then you let the thought convert into feeling, and you have a meeting, and then you get anxiety and stress because you're going to be late for a meeting because it's raining, which has resulted in a train delay, tube delays, which is a common thing. And then the next one, emotions, which is at a philosophy, at a mental level, where it says, why is it always happens to me? Why, when I have an important meeting, this always happens to me? So here, something happening which is not in your control, rain, has changed your thought into negative thought, which has affected your feelings. In return, it affected your emotions. So your vibration goes down. So from that time onwards, until you reach the office, you are going to meet the people who have a low vibrating, who are operating in a low vibration model. So they are not going to be the same as you are normally, but then because your vibration has gone down, you are going to meet the people who are going to know you, who are going to become angry with you. So the whole day has been changed because you did not control the thought.
Absolutely.
So
the manifestations don't have to be always positive. That's what you're saying in a way.
Yes.
Well, when people think about manifestations, we normally start thinking about the nice car, or the house, or that attractive body.
Yes.
Or that loving family.
Yes.
We can also manifest a lot of negative things.
Yes.
And when our thoughts become sad, unhappy, depressed,
negative thoughts,
then that in turn can manifest.
So you're manifesting without knowing, because you're letting that thought the environment to control you.
Yes.
And then the thought becomes negative, and the feelings, emotion, vibration, frequency.
Yes.
It's a spiral effect.
Absolutely.
So there are lots of techniques available for this, and we will in fact we'll talk about each of the components. So thought, feelings, emotion, energy, vibration, and frequency. These are the 6 components which works as a DNA chain in a manifestation process. So each component has different techniques. For example, if you take a thought, and as you going back to your previous example about Rolls Royce, can I afford it? So you see self-affirmation. In order to overcome your negative beliefs about yourself, you do positive affirmations in the morning. Or you may do gratitude for abundance of blessing you have in your life, and thanking the universe for what it has blessed you with. Or else you can do the visualization, the vision board, where you place the Rolls Royce wherever you see. So let's talk about the techniques under each elements. So anything else you can think of for the thoughts? Any other techniques? So I have self affirmations, gratitude, and vision board. Anything else you can think?
Yeah, I think, look, you've said them all, and I think you've said the most important things. The one thing I would add to all that is uh, mental clarity is very important,
Yes.
and to some extent, some consistency of the desires or thoughts, and not conflicting thoughts.
Mm.
So I think those are the sort of things that are important, because sometimes our thoughts can conflict.
Yes.
So, for example, if I say, if my desire is that I should have a beautiful family with 3 children, and then my another thought is, oh, I saw my mother really struggling raising the 4 children in my family.
Yeah.
Now, which thought is dominating there?
Mm.
Do I want a beautiful family with 3 children? No, am I worried that 3 children now are going to add to my burdens?
Yes.
So lack of that contradiction, that mental clarity, not having clutter around you is very important. I mean, then after that, like everything else you said, whether you vision board, do you affirm it, all that is comes sort of as a next step.
Yes. I think one of the thought leader on the thought process is actually Dr. Joe Dispenza. We are a huge fan of him, and you have been to his workshop. Did you tell us about that?
Thanks, Anton. So I've been privileged to be able to go to his retreat, and one of the things that I realized when I went there was like, how many people were there looking for these kind of solutions. I mean, that was phenomenal to see that there are many ordinary people who are trying to improve their lives, trying to be extraordinary, right? I think getting into the sort of the essence of Dr. Joe, I think he believes that we are either in a survival mode or we are in a creation mode.
Yes.
And when we are in a survival mode, we are going through fight or flight. And that's effectively the enemies out there. There's always a dinosaur out there, and
Yes.
and we are constantly sort of
Fighting.
creating chemicals in our body, which keeps us in an extreme state of arousal.
Yes.
But what happens with that is the body gets worn out.
Yes.
And as you correctly said earlier, our vibrations become very low, we get depleted, and nothing good comes out of it, right? The other mode to get into is the divine mode. The divine mode is where, like I said earlier, your inner world is in a state of calm. You've got clarity of what you want, and you're manifesting them very, very clearly without contradicting and confusing yourself. And then also you're doing aligned action, because like manifestation doesn't happen by itself. You've got to take action. But what happens is, though, when you manifest from a state of calmness, synchronicities start happening. Then it's like you want the beautiful house, and suddenly your best friend is selling his house in a rush, and he's going to give you a very, very unbelievable price. But because you started looking and thinking, now this is now really appearing in front of you. And it's a happy go transaction, and he even tells you you can give some of the money to him 6 months later or 1 year later.
Yeah,
so it's
that
kind of
makes
like
it perfect.
it's an unbelievable deal.
Yes.
It's an unbelievable deal. And on top of that, he says he's got another best friend who's the best amazing builder in the world, and who's going to do a lot of work for you at a very reasonable price.
Yeah.
That's when the synchronicities start happening.
Makes sense.
Now, for that to happen, your inner world needs to be calm. And what Dr. Joe believes, and he highly recommends, is that you got to spend time meditating.
Yes.
Because meditation is a way of controlling your thoughts. And when you control your thoughts, when you bring that calmness into your thoughts,
yes,
then the rest of the work becomes a lot easier.
Yeah, meditation is a big thing, and we will discuss about meditation and how it fits in the concept of yoga in another talk show. So that will be an interesting topic, because I started meditating almost a year and a half ago. No, I would say one year ago. So 1 year ago I started meditation, along as part of my yoga, which also consists of asanas and breathing, pranayama. So all those elements kind of helping me to manage the symptoms of PD, and because our focus is on PD and how we can help, or how my experience can help other PD patients who are here at the moment. So one thing I manifest at the moment is complete healing. So, but again, that as Dr. Joe Dispenza says that you need to believe as it has been done.
Yes.
You can't hope. If you're hoping, if you're wishing, that's not how the universe works.
No.
You have a demand from the universe that give me that. You created me, give me that. And then you have to behave as if you already got it. So achieving that mental state is very difficult. And that's where the chakras and the different type of yoga comes into place. We'll discuss it later. But just to understand, just to put things into perspective. So manifestation is that what you desire to have. And you can have many. That story comes to my mind when I read when I was a kid. So there was this old man who's in his 70s and then married, but he doesn't have any children. So he goes one day. God appears in front of him and says, "I'm here to give you a wish. What do you want?" But God says, "I can only give you one wish." So then the old man thinks, what he can ask. If he has money, what's the point of asking money at the age of 75? And what's the point of asking health if you don't have money? So he also wants a happy family, but then he can't ask for that because he doesn't have children. So he kind of added different components to his vision. He said that, "Lord, just please bless me to..." And also he was blind. He was blind old man, 75 years old, married, no children. So God asked, God is only giving him one wish. So he's a clever old man. He said, "God, I should be able to see my son's wedding from that house behind me with my own eyes." So for the trick of this manifestation is that he needs to go young to get a child. So he needs to see my son's wedding, therefore that he should not be blind. At the same time, he wants to see the wedding from the house in the hill, which means that he should be wealthy enough. So he kind of combined wealth, health, and family in one wish and got it granted from God. So the manifestation has to be, as you correctly said, we have to be clearly defined. What is it you want?
Yes.
But that takes a lot of time.
Yes.
What do you want in life?
Yes.
It's the hard part, isn't it?
Yes. And also, I think as I start understanding manifestations a bit more and spend more time thinking about it, and also looking at how I have done it in the past, even though I didn't use the term, there's also one more thing I've realized, Anton. I think manifestations is also about who you're becoming. So you're not going to get your manifestation just because of a thought, but you also have to be that person. And I think that's the art of the manifestation.
You have to behave as it's already been granted.
Exactly. So if you want to be a healthy person, then you've got to behave like a healthy person. Yes. What would a healthy person do? How would a healthy person walk? How would a healthy person talk? What would they eat?
Yes.
What kind of friends would they have? What kind of family would they have? What interests would they have? So that then attracts health.
That's where different laws come, right? We have law of attraction, law of assumption, law of activeness.
That's right.
And there are 10 or 12 laws are there which kind of says that just because you manifest and do nothing, and then do nothing, nothing is going to happen.
That's right.
So the law of attraction, what is your what do you like to add about that law of attraction?
I think the law of attraction is, in my view, is true. It's real. I think it works every day. We attract like-minded people around us, and we attract things that reflect our state of being. So I think, but that it can change, though. I mean, our state of being can change.
Yes, depending on the external environment.
And based on our internal environment as well, right? And if our state of being gets better and changes to the right place, then some of the things that we've attracted in the past might drop off.
Yes.
And we may attract new things. Now, I think that's another challenge we have as human beings, is we are subject to social conditioning.
Yes.
That we are stuck with with the things that we have collected in the past.
Mm.
And because we are stuck with the things we have collected in the past, we can't actually manifest new things
Understand.
because it blocks us.
Mm.
So the for law of attraction to work, we have to be very fluid actually, and
It's true.
That's not easy though. We have to be very fluid.
But then when you're fluid and when you really know what you want,
Yes,
universe always puts ideas in your head.
correct.
For example, that I don't know where the YouTube channel going to go. It could be one way of generating 1 million viewers suddenly. And then, it could be there's a reason for why we are doing this. Because one of the things which I was fascinated by, one of the saying is that when something bad happens, don't think, why is it happening to me?
Yes,
What is that trying to teach me?
absolutely.
What is that even trying to teach me?
Yes.
What I can learn from that. So my chain of thought is kind of broken here. So I was trying to think something else about your point about the law of attraction.
Yes.
The law of attraction is it is true. It has worked. I have many examples where the law of attraction has worked in my life, and that's mainly because as long as you stay in the right frequency level, and again, frequency and vibration is another chapter which we'll try to cover on another talk show. So as far as you're in a high vibration, right frequency level, you'll attract the same minded people. For example, on your phone contacts, how many contacts we have? 500,000?
I have
Yeah.
a lot less than that, Hunter.
I have around 500 contacts. But how many people I call? Maximum 6 or 7.
That's what I meant actually. So
Yeah.
I do have a lot, but
So we have a lot of contacts, but we only call at least 1/10 of that contacts or less than that. That's mainly because if we remove your parents, your siblings, and your family, then whoever left in that circle is the one whom we are vibing at the same level.
That's right.
Everyone else is that we are not vibing in the same level. So it's important to vibe at the same level and to attract the right mindset of people. And then and you don't know how they'll become useful and how you will become useful to them. So there are many stories we can share, and then which we'll share later on. I think that's enough for today, I guess. So do you want to summarize, Ravi, what we have talked about today?
Yeah, no, thank you. I think first of all, it's great to see you, and
As always,
be able
like
to
you,
join you on your show. I think manifestation is a fascinating topic. Apparently, it's one of the highly sought out words on Google at the moment, and it's also in the Oxford Dictionary. Everybody's curious about it. A lot of people are trying to explain it, but I think the way I think about it is our natural state. We are divine beings and natural manifestors. Social conditioning, and I would say to some extent, the world, the way the world has worked and influenced us, has made us forget our natural being. So effectively, we have realized that we have learned over the years, and some of this is a lot of social conditioning, social engineering, that we've learned that we have to work extremely hard and move matter by matter to accomplish things. But manifestation actually makes it much easier for us. But of course, it doesn't happen by itself. For that, we have to be in the right state of being, the state of mind.
Yes.
Our intentions have to be very clear.
Yes.
We have to have positive emotions to
And
attract
we
our
also absolutely
manifestations.
believe that.
We've got to believe in that. We've got to believe it's ours. We've got to believe it's ours, and you said demand, and I would say believe it's ours.
Yes.
Sort of believe that it's done. Think of it as placing an Amazon order. You place the order,
and you know it's coming tomorrow.
It's going to come. And have the positive emotions. And you touched on this earlier. The most important emotions are the emotions of gratitude and the emotions of joy. So when you are in the right set of emotions, and if you vibrate on that consistently, use the word vibration a lot today.
Yes.
Then the likelihood of your manifestations coming true increases. Now, where you can further add icing on the cake, in my opinion, is to aligned actions.
Yes.
Because the actions can also make an effort, make make the manifestations come faster, because just because I sit in my couch and I start thinking I need to move into a much bigger house with a swimming pool, it's not going to happen
unless you work on it.
unless I work on it. And the working on it could be starting to look for a house. I mean, simple as that. Starting to think about how do I make this happen. Talking to other people who have big houses, going and seeing them, looking at images of big houses. It doesn't have to be big actions. At least start with something.
Understand.
And then synchronicities happen. And if your manifestation is working, that's when the synchronicities start happening. And sometimes they're unbelievable synchronicities, and then miracles happen. And that's when your manifestation is coming true.
Miracles. I think I like to end that talk show on that note, miracle, because I watched one of the Dr. Spencer Visoisa's program. It's about where he said that you have to absolutely believe, absolutely certain that this is done.
Yes.
You can't wish for it, you can't hope for it. You have to be absolutely certain this has been done. So I'm in the process of selling one of my houses, though. After 6 months, they almost thought that I'm going to lose it because there's a problem was emerged, and the buyer said that they are going to withdraw. And they asked for much more information, which I couldn't provide, and everyone thought that the best thing for you to pull out of the deal and then to remarket the property. I believed and said that I was absolutely certain that this transaction will go through. So yesterday it happened. This morning the buyer called and said, "Don't worry about it. We are going to continue and we are going to close the deal."
Awesome.
Congratulations. Thank you. So that is one little example where you completely believe that is absolutely certain. This is Dr. Visoisa's words. They actually believe that it will happen, then it will happen.
Yeah, I think you've nailed it. I mean, some of this is going to sound far-fetched, but I believe in it. I think there are multiple dimensions out there, and in those multiple dimensions, multiple realities are there. And if you believe, you could draw from another reality what you want.
Thank you. Thank you, Ravi, for being my guest today.
It's a pleasure.
And then whoever watching this, if there is anyone, I hope you enjoyed it, and we can please share the video. Now we are hoping to bring more content to you in the next every week or twice a month. We'll take it from there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
End stream. And
May